welcome to Access Sportsnet. I'm your host, Allie Clifton. Joining me, it's our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan, and from the USA Today, Mark Medina. Chris McGee will join us later in the show. Hi, guys.
Allie, Brez, good to see you in person finally. I'm used to doing this all virtual and showing the bookshelf.
Have we not seen you in person yet?
Since pre-pandemic, nope.
Did you bring the bookshelf? It feels better, more comfortable with it behind you. We could talk about all your sports books, but apparently not.
No, I don't have the strength to carry that shelf in the studio, so I'll have to leave it. Yep.
Have you finished reading all the books in the bookshelf?
Well, I've added some more.
That was a good question.
But I didn't finish it. I spent time traveling. I was in Boston for a few days. Got this true story. I was walking through some stores. There were more Laker jerseys there than Celtic jerseys.
I was about to say, way to start the show using the word Boston, but you redeemed yourself.
I was using it as a punchline.
Yeah.
Nice, Mark.
Well done. Good to see you. Good to see you, Brez. As this edition of Access gets started with the Lakers' latest roster addition. Center DeAndre Jordan, is officially a member of the Purple and Gold. The 13-year veteran appeared in 57 games for the Nets last season, where he averaged close to 8 points, 8 boards, and 22 minutes of action. And after his signing, our Chris McGee caught up with the Lakers' new big man.
All right, DJ, we'll just start with why the Lakers?
Man, this was not a very tough decision. You always wanted to be in a place where you're wanted and a place where you're, have a chance to compete and contend for something that is that's a team goal. And obviously, I was here playing my first 10 years of professional basketball, so that was a great experience for me. And just to be able to be back around my family and with an organization that's, ready to compete for another title is exciting to me.
I like that you said to be wanted. AD actually thanked Rob when you guys walked by. Does that, listen, you've been in the league a long time. You have a lot of accolades. It still probably feels good when superstars from other teams are excited to have you? Yeah,
it feels good, man. Like I said, just to, be in a situation where it's beneficial. I'm super excited about it, like being able to, play with these guys of this caliber talent who've been in this league for a long time, who've won. I'm really excited to be a part of this and not only be teammates, but not have to guard these guys anymore. And, it's just an exciting time, and I'm just taking it all in.
Listen, I know camp hasn't even started yet, but you've talked to Frank and Rob, and I'm sure you have a vision for it. What do you think, your role might be?
I don't think my role changes pretty much on a lot of the teams that I'm on. I'm just here to do my job, man. I'm here to come in and defend, rebound, get extra possessions from my teammates, protect the rim as much as possible, finish anything that I'm giving down there, and just be a great locker room guy for us and try to help us win as many games as go as far as we possibly can. That's the goal.
So DeAndre Jordan, guys, he's excited. He's taking it all in. He says, I'm just here to do my job, which has been pretty consistent for his career. He knows it. Your reaction, Mark, I'll start with you.
Well, I love the sign. It's just a continuous pattern that the Lakers have found this way to sign all these all-star caliber players to veteran minimum deals. And look, before this move, the Lakers, I think, were championship favorites. So it's not like it's something that dramatically changes. But DeAndre Jordan has been a proven starter. He's a defensive player. And I think to the relief of Anthony Davis, he might be able to get him out at least for a little bit at playing at the center spot. And so the more reinforcements, the better for this veteran-laden team.
Yeah, I kind of like this signing. It brings to mind what they did 2 seasons ago when you had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee down low, grabbing boards, blocking shots. Similar situation here. You bring on a guy like DeAndre Jordan. He's not going to stretch the shot selection for the Lakers. I think we all realize he is an in-the-paint kind of guy, but he definitely reminds me of a JaVale McGee. Lakers, once again, going with 2 tough, hard-nosed rebound shot blockers down low. I like it.
I think we can all say, since we're all on social media, we probably saw the photo of Anthony Davis and DJ hugging one another. Do you like the route that the Lakers are taking with the center position? Let's start there.
Yeah, you know who really likes it? Anthony Davis. It was pretty evident there. He's very excited about it, and he said, okay, good. I am probably not starting at center. Phew. So that's a big deal for him, obviously. And I always like when AD says, I will do it. I will play center if the team needs me to. Well, as of maybe a week ago, they might have needed him to start at center, but that is obviously probably no longer the case. I'm guessing Dwight or DeAndre does indeed get that starting nod. AD definitely will close plenty of games at the 5. But I like the signing, and definitely AD. I wish we could call him or FaceTime him, have him call in, because we could get his true feelings. I'm sure he's elated.
And look, as much as he's elated, Brez, that he might not have to play the center spot right away, he should embrace this and be ready for that responsibility, because he's very good at the center spot. I think toward the latter part of the season, he's going to be needed there, especially in the playoffs. But to start the season, I think having DeAndre Jordan take that mantle, even to start games, is really good. I like that comparison to JaVale McGee, where he can provide that rim protection, get some good instant offense going, moving at a fast pace. So he checks all the boxes no matter how you slice it.
Look, I know that AD didn't play a ton of games last season due to the injury, but I think going in mentally, it's something that we talked a lot about a season ago. What was going on at the center position? So just mentally for players, doesn't this provide kind of that clarity from the get-go, understanding what that position looks like?
Yeah, the big question, who will get the starting nod? Do the Lakers keep Dwight as a backup or maybe plug DeAndre in? I think we're going to talk about that more in depth later in the show. But yeah, as far as AD, he can now say, okay, I'll be the power forward on this team 92% of the time, whatever percentage he and Frank Vogel end up having there. And yeah, you can start to see the pieces falling into place. Some uncertainty about Marc Gasol over the last couple of months. Plenty of whispers. Is this his last season in the NBA? Is this his last season with the Lakers? And maybe he's not ready to retire. He just wants to go somewhere else. Or indeed, would he come back with the Lakers? So the roster is really starting to take shape, even though they do have 2 more spots, one of which they'll probably keep in reserve just in case you need to add someone later in the season.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think when you're looking specifically at DeAndre versus Marc Gasol, I think it was a no-brainer, because you're looking at DeAndre. He's a lot younger of a player. I think he can fit that skill set that's required, where he's a lot more mobile. He can provide a lot more rim protection. Marc Gasol, he's a proven all-star, but we saw last season there were some hiccups with his conditioning and just wondering if Father Time's finally getting the best of him. So as much as it's tough to see Marc Gasol go from a practical standpoint, I thought it was a no-brainer of a move.
You guys really saw our rundown, because you've made the transition very easy for me, because in another center-related move, the Lakers sent big man Marc Gasol to the Grizzlies in exchange for the draft rights to Wang Jalin. Memphis also receives a second-round pick in cash considerations. Gasol's future with the Lakers was clouded this offseason after a rocky season that saw him appear in 52 games a season ago. I think, too, when it comes to this, guys, the Lakers with the classy move, the full circle move now when you think of Marc's career, obviously being drafted by the Lakers, and now he's drafted or sent back to the Grizzlies, where he ultimately could retire, obviously.
Yeah, so he really did play for 2 teams 2 different times, if you include this most recent transaction. The sentiment is he probably will not be suiting up for the Grizzlies, might just stay in Spain for the upcoming season, and why not? He's had a very productive, fruitful career. He went a lot farther than most people thought he would. I remember when the Lakers drafted him, somebody in their front office said, he's got some skills. He's just a little heavy. He's kind of pudgy right now. We'll see what happens. That's kind of the way with any second rounder. It's always a little bit of a crapshoot. Will he indeed make it in the league? And Marc Gasol should be really proud of what he accomplished, if indeed he has played his last NBA game, culminating with that championship in Toronto just a couple short years ago.
Yeah, and we'll see, but I think it looks like the stars are aligned for him to follow in his brother's footstep, and Pau Gasol, in closing his career out in Spain. And I know, talking to Pau this summer, where he had some injury challenges that forced him to end his NBA career sooner than he hoped, he still felt motivated to come back from this injury, 1, to play in the Olympics, but 2, to play with FC Barcelona. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Marc doing that in Spain, because he obviously has that relationship to his hometown country. I
was going to say, not every player has a hand in the way in which their career ends. So for Marc to maybe have a hand in that and kind of navigate the end of his career, good for him. We like to see that for good people. Could another big be in the Lakers' future? Jovan Buha, The Athletic, tweeted that Kenneth Faried is working out for the Lakers this week, according to sources. I saw this, guys, and I thought of Kenneth Faried from the Nuggets. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, his last stops, Brooklyn, Houston, and then he played a season ago overseas in China. Thoughts? Any kind of attraction there for you?
I love his nickname. He was Manimal. He was a big deal back in Denver. He hasn't played in the NBA since 2019. As you mentioned, Ali played a year in China. Did not play last season. But the Lakers obviously still looking for people, big men in particular. I think the key for him is, has he been working on a three-point shot? I think he tried to do it towards the end of his career. He's not exactly going to be confused with like a Kevin Love or one of the smooth shooting big men. But if he can show a little bit of depth, of range, maybe there's something here. But again, he has not played in the NBA since 2019.
Yeah, but he's got a great nickname.
Yeah, great, man. Well, I remember Bresnahan a bit. We're at plenty of Nuggets games in Denver where he was just posterizing some of the Lakers guys.
They were crazy. Yeah.
But I'm looking at this a little bit more short term as opposed to, would he be on the roster? I think it's almost as a training camp invitee where it's a no-brainer. You don't know what his game's going to be, but his game has always been about all energy. So if nothing else, he can be a really good guy in training camp to get everyone else's competitive juices going, and then that can